So Basilisk, a round of 16. This will be our prediction. Reynor random versus Trigger. You guys can vote. I give you guys, I don't know how many minutes. He is indeed random, loading into game 1. Fjant says he wants to cast, then I will go ahead and give you a call, mate, and I will share my screen with you. We are into the first game. I think I saw a Nexus, guys, but I'm not 100% sure, but I think I saw a Nexus. Start video call? No, start voice call, and then share screen. That is what we do. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. No hey yet. Let's go ahead and enjoy this all Basilisk. A round of 16 upper bracket. Best of 3. Let's get it on. Top right side. Our young Canadian going for the low ground pylon. He does not know what race his opponent is. This is our man Trigger.
And in the bottom left corner of the map, the man from Basilisk, the random player, it is the Italian stallion Reynor.
Hey, Fjanti. I already said hey a couple times, but I think the audio was not quite working yet. But I can hear you now. Can you see the game properly, mate?
Yes, I can see the game properly.
Alright, before we talk about this PvP and Trigger obviously having a low ground setup against Reynor's random, talk to me quickly about your experience in the tournament. I know upper bracket you played against Solar and then you had a lower bracket best of 1. Talk to us, Fjant. How was your night?
So, first round I played against Diamond player, wasn't too hard. Second round I played very weird series versus Boobas. First game didn't go so well. Second game he lost to a 12 pool. Third game I just went across with Lynx after I Gate Forge and killed him. But then we have the match of the hour. The match of the night. I went up against Solar. And I know that I have very good ping advantage versus Solar. So I was thinking of going something very micro intensive. Because I don't have lots of ping on either west or central.
What is your ping on west before you continue?
Like 120.
120 on the west, yeah, that's pretty sweet. That is quite good. Go on.
But he all-ins me. But I was kind of planning on all-inning him later, so I already have lots of units. So I'm just build order 1 on ping advantage on a good map. And he just leaves. And it was amazing.
Alright, we've got, I would love to hear the rest of your night, mate, but we have to talk about this a little bit. As Reynor built a pylon in the natural of Trigger. Trigger has a battery going up. Reynor has a battery going up. And Adept is not fantastic against the battery. It's a defensive robo against a Stargate, but the Stargate is being built at home. I feel that Reynor is right now the dog in the laboratory, and he's got absolutely no idea what he's doing.
He's also trapping the Adept from not going into the base, right? It looks kind of bad because the battery's gonna die and there's 2 units against the 1, but maybe he can make it work.
I don't think Reynor has any idea what he's doing.
He doesn't know.
Like, even if he kills the battery, then Reynor has to kill his own pylon. There is another battery. Like, this is not really going anywhere. Reynor does have a wall of at home, so at least the Adept doesn't make it into the main base. It is important for Reynor that he does not reveal the fact that he's going Stargate. But the fact that Trigger has an Adept on the other side of the map and it sees the Nexus is obviously already a big W for Trigger.
Yeah, so he kills the pile, but he doesn't really get anything else. So he can't really kill anything else, and now this is really good for Trigger, right?
It is pretty good, but it obviously all comes down to the Oracle defense. Like, if Reynor's game plan was here to scare Trigger and force him to play Robo and maybe overreact, then we could kind of say, like, okay, you kind of got that done. But now Reynor has still put himself in a position where he needs to kill a lot of probes with the Oracle before we can truly say that it's good for Reynor or good for Trigger.
And he waits for a second Oracle as well. Which is, I don't know how many Stalker Trigger has, but I don't think he's gonna be able to defend 2 locations. Two Stalkers in each base.
Feels like it's inevitable that Trigger will lose a couple of probes, but Reynor definitely needs more than just a couple of probes, because he's 10 workers behind in a game that hasn't even gone on for 5 minutes yet. And I want to give a little shout out to my man Mindo. Mindo, I hope you had a fun time playing in the tournament, because I know that you were trying. Thank you for the raid, amigo. Alright, here we go, Fjant. Move out, Oracles, Stalkers. Big moment for Reynor.
Yeah, I think the plan is just to bait the stalkers down because it's a pretty even number, but maybe Trigger sees it. He has an immortal, so he doesn't have to pull down the stalkers. There's 4 stalkers here. There's gonna be 2 stalkers in the main base. That is not enough to kill the oracles, but they will kill them eventually. But
nice movement.
Will die.
Nice movement by Trigger, and actually Reynor there mistargeted for a split second, a very tiny moment. The oracles were shooting at the stalkers. Perfect defense, man. You can really see that this is not Trigger's first rodeo. He handled that so well. The fact that Trigger only lost 3 probes there is mighty impressive.
And he also killed a high energy oracle, so this oracle has 0 energy. The other one had maybe 100, but this one really has no energy. So this is really bad. The worker count has equaled up, which is good, but the tech is still, within production is still in Trigger's favor.
I think one thing that we kind of know about Reynor's off-race is that Reynor is a greedy boy. Where he plays Terran or Protoss, Reynor is expanding like he's Zerg, without a worry in the world, and makes a lot of workers. I also think that Trigger obviously has seen enough of Reynor's off-race to know that that is happening. I feel that Trigger is just going to full send it on 2 bases. Blink Stalkers, he's got 2 Immortals, a War Prism, and at this point for Reynor, it's time to buy as much time as possible. But Trigger wasn't born last night. He's not even going to bother defend. Well, okay, he will bother defending. So he goes for a recall, but he goes into the natural. There's a stasis trap, so now the Immortal's a bit exposed. I honestly think that if Trigger would have just kept attacking, he would have been totally fine. No, Reynor Reynor should recall too, I think. He's going to try to blink out, but he can't blink out. Reynor's going to lose everything, man.
And this is a really bad deal. He won't be able to get an army before Trigger goes across the map.
9 army supply. Sorry, mate, and I'm laughing, but I just took a look at the army supply, and it was 9 against 41.
Maybe we can take some hopium and make a battery, but I don't see this going anywhere.
Even with the old overcharge, I'm not sure if I would believe in a battery here, Fjant, but yeah. Reynor is like, hey, Trigger, you should turn around again, man. I've got 3 stalkers left. And Trigger is like, yeah, no. What about this time around? I will actually go to the other side of the map. Reynor has a base advantage and a 7 worker advantage, but he's got no units. And if there is one thing that my man Trigger loves doing, it's a good old forward blink if he's got superior numbers. Seems like we're waiting for the Immortals, but I do not believe that Reynor can ever defend here.
GG. Trigger takes game 1. I would say this was kind of convincing. It felt like he was in control for the entire game.
I think that, like, what Reynor tried to do in the beginning of the game was kind of cute, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm all-inning your 1-gate setup. But then he wasn't, because he wanted to expand and he wanted to go for oracles. But the fact that the Adept was able to scout the expand, I think that already ruined a lot of Reynor's momentum. And then, obviously, I'm distracted by Dimaga's message. He says, I also have a question. Euthermal versus Axis Striker. Playing a nearly 1 hour best of 1. What the fuck? So it seems like
Thermal is filming something.
Yeah, he's just making some content. But yeah, obviously Reynor with the oracles and the late expand, the fact that the expand got scouted, it allows Trigger to build a lot of workers. So Reynor fell behind in the worker department, and then the first 2 oracles, they needed to get a lot of damage done, and they simply didn't. You think he's gonna play Zerg game 2 or random?
Random. Reynor is not a man who quits. I don't
can
think
invite
he
you.
has done this. Oh, yeah, I'll tab again.
Yeah, I'll just invite you to the game. You can cast with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the stream because otherwise I have 5 FPS and I probably want to see what's happening as well.
Yeah, of course. I can. I don't need to share my screen with you if you're in the game. Since I wasn't sure if you wanted to join and the boys just wanted to start. Oops. Wait. All right, now we're back. Sorry. But yeah.
Yeah, we're back. Good. So he's still random. As I believed.
Yep. Reynor sticking with random, guys. So let's see what we get. Mate, Reynor is gonna have an unpleasant time in the lower bracket, I think. He's gonna have to play multiple best of 1s as well. If he does drop to the lower bracket here. But hey, Reynor has been enjoying playing random in the tournaments. He's sticking by it. Right now, I wouldn't be surprised for anybody to bet 250,000 points on Trigger. Because Trigger is up 1-0 and this man is Terran in game 2.
Round 2. Fight!
But the low ground wall is good for tank pushes, right? Like you can siege up under. Take
No
out all the
guarantee, but yeah, let's do intros quickly. Top left side of Babylon, playing as random in game 2 as well. He's down 0-1 in his upper bracket best of 3. The Italian Stallion. This is Reynor.
And in the bottom right corner of the map, the red Protoss, the man who very convincingly took out Reynor in game 1, we have Trigger.
Gumio 1-0 versus Cero. I think now we know why Cero was mauling over my veto system. Gumio probably picking the best mech maps out there. But Cero gets map pick in game 2 since he is the lower seed. It's loser pick. And then it's Gumio pick again.
Yeah, I was very confused with the pick system at first.
I don't think it's too confusing. Lower seed picks
No,
first,
I was
then
just-
loser pick.
Yeah, I was just searching for AB, so I was just looking for capitalized A's and B's in the description, but I couldn't find them.
And lower bracket, it is obviously best of 1, and the lower seed picks the map. I think the
Yeah.
veto system is great. And I think it also allows the tournament to speed up a little bit, because it's not rocket science. CuKu, have you played in the lower bracket yet? And if so, who are you playing in the lower bracket?
He played versus Guru, he was 1-0, so he won against Guru.
Oh yeah, I think he was going to report a win, yes.
I won 1-0 versus Guru, but can't put the score in for some reason.
Yeah.
Challenge is trolling above CuKu.
You lost versus Lambo? Alright. But you had map pick.
Muppet. Yeah.
He's unhappy
Map
with a
pick
best
will
of 1 and map choice. Unbelievable. What a kid. You can't do anything to please the kids these days, can you, Fjant?
Yeah, you can't. Too hard.
Do you believe in
So-
Reynor Terran here in game 2?
Yeah, I believe he took down the Max Bucks in the weekly. So I think he can.
That was on altitude, correct? That game?
Yes, it was on altitude. So he goes for it. This is something I see when I open a CuKu stream. A factory in a second factory. So he must have learned from CuKu, I think.
Wait, you say a factory and? It's a barracks.
Another barracks. What did I say?
And then you said a factory and another factory, and I was like, what? We're playing double factory TVP? Like, I was getting excited, but...
No.
Now
So
we'll
the-
probably get one more, unless Reynor wants to do like the 2-1-1 setup, but I'm not necessarily super fond of that. You mentioned already that a tank push could be good against the low ground pylon that Trigger is forced to go for, because Trigger is obviously playing PvT. It could very well be the case here, mate. I think we are going to see at least an early tank push and take it from there.
Yeah, this is actually kind of cool. He shades with the adapt to get high gun vision just to get some damage in on the marines. It's kind of cute.
It's pretty common, but it's the right way to do it. You don't want to let the shade finish up. Obviously, the moment you let the shade finish up, you're going to lose your adapt. With 2 stalkers, you can obviously 2-shot marines, and this is where Reynor knows that he needs to do something about some of these units, but I have the feeling that Trigger is almost giving Reynor too much respect here. I think we can be a little bit more active. These stalkers can have a field day, and I absolutely think we can punish Reynor for the fact that Reynor is playing without a bunker.
Combat shield means SCV pull, no? Because he won't place them, he will do a tank push with SCVs.
No, it doesn't have to be SCV pool. It could be, but it can also just be a contain, right? Where we build bunkers and missile turrets on the other side of the map. Wow, a recall. Okay. Interesting.
What does he think will happen?
I think he's worried about mine drop or Hellion drop or a Raven or Res or something, but it's kind of odd, to be honest. I feel like it's a bit early, but okay. Maybe this feels that Reynor does not have enough, because Reynor's build order is probably not as clean. Okay, now the adapt shades up, drums into the main base. We'll see the tanks, we'll see the extra marines, and Trigger is going to immediately move out with the stalkers again, realizing that he didn't need to recall at all. At this point, we need to buy time with the Blinky boys.
He starts +1, so it's not gonna be a full all-in right now, but I think it's gonna be the contain because he's waiting for +1. So the kiting is good here, puts the tank in front. Ooh, close getting the tank.
That is unlucky, but obviously it does allow Reynor to maybe push a bit slower so Trigger can buy a bit more time for himself. Nothing I say makes sense at this point, guys. But not getting the tank hurts, but at least it slows down the push. So I do think that Trigger did quite well. First tank sieging up. I really kind of like a Disruptor here as a first unit out of the Robo after the Robo Bay is done. Because these Marines have combat shield. You can see that they have combat shield as a Protoss player too, because they're carrying little shields. But you also know that it's somewhat unlikely that he already has Stim. So one Nova is all it takes for a couple of the Marines to go down, and then the Stalkers can blink forward and get on top of the tanks. I think Reynor's Terran is in serious trouble here.
He fires the disruption.
Oh, what?
He gets a bunker, he blinks on top, but this is not a good blink. He loses the disruptor and he's gonna lose all the stalkers. He doesn't even get the tank. This is disastrous.
What was that? We fired a Nova on only the bunker. We blink into our own Nova. We don't kill anything and lose our entire army. Our man from Canada going full Tyson Fury by uppercutting himself in the face. And a game that looked very promising for Trigger is suddenly incredibly problematic. What was that?
I don't know what I just saw. Another disruptor. It's gonna get close. The splits are good. Only 2 Marines. But he can just go home. He killed the fair base. Is very up in supply. He has more workers. This is really good. Reynor.
I'm gonna, as soon as this game ends, I will show that to you guys one more time. We do have charge finishing up soon, but that was... I felt there were so many ways for Trigger to defend that. That was obviously not one of them, guys. That was not one of them. Fired a Nova a bit early, didn't really get a whole lot. Reynor, his tank is firing at the one Zealot that's on top of the Marines. Obviously, these Marines, they don't have Stim yet. They finally do right now, so now we can Stim, we can avoid the Nova. Reynor is up 30 supply. Nice split against the Nova. In the end, this army will go down, but Reynor is already in the main base with a double drop. And if we can unpower the Robo, I think it is absolutely game over. But even with the Robo power, the Colossus is not out yet. I mean, this is just very problematic for a young man from Canada.
And he can't even clean up the drop. It's gonna get everything. He does get the disruptor shot, but he could just pick up. And it's GG.
So we have a clip in the channel. You guys can take a look at the clip, but I can also just show you guys in the replay one more time. I have seen... I've seen a lot of things, guys. Is it already? Did it already happen here? Yeah. Let's just take another look. So at this point, it really feels that like Trigger's got all the time in the world. He gets a disruptor out. It's like 34 army supply, but no Stim against 27. He fires the Nova very early. It doesn't connect to anything, and that's obviously already a bit of a shame. But to make it even worse, we blink forward and we blow up 4 of our own Stalkers. And Reynor says, I'm pretty sure that that's not supposed to work. Yeah, no shit. He went full Tyson Fury on himself. Alright, Fjant, join the game, join the game, join the game.
Invite me.
Yeah, I did, but I can't. Damn it. Sec. Oh, never mind.
Okay, you have to stream.
Okay, never mind. Reynor left the lobby, so I can invite you.
Oh my god, the Reynor is such a sweetheart.
Yeah. Zerg love right there. Alright.
So when can I add you so I can actually just click on join game?
You mean add me on Battle.net?
Yeah, the real
Well,
Rotterdam.
Only 20 minutes ago, I accepted Victoria's request to be friends with me on Battle.net. And I've known her for almost a year at this point, so... You know, it takes a while, Fjant.
Yeah, it takes a while. Yep. Have to wait a bit longer.
Yeah. We have Lambo in the channel asking if there is an admin that can message him. I actually don't know who the admins are. But if there is an admin listening to the stream, please contact Lambo. Because I guess there is a little issue with the lower bracket.
It's PvP.
Oh my goodness. PvP again, guys. Reynor sticks to random. All 3 games he goes random. In the upper bracket, round of 16. The winner of this best of 3 will duke it out with Liquid Claymore. And I guess he is not happy with the fact that he got Protoss once more.
Final round. Fight!
I mean, he can forget. In the bottom left corner of the map, we have the man that tried to uppercut himself. We have the Canadian Protoss Trigger.
And in the top right side, we have a man that is kind of triggered by the RNG in this game. And apparently he's blaming David Kim. 3 games in a row. He rolled the dice. He rolled as random. 2 out of 3 games, he gets PvP. This is Reynor.
Is this a Nexus first? No.
Nexus first, high ground defense? Oh, okay. That's a play. That is a play.
But Trigger will always scout because he's playing random.
Yeah, but now the Nexus is already down. And then it's not that easy to do something about it. Reynor needs to follow this probe. Reynor, you cannot just let this probe chill. You need to know what you're playing against. Like, Nexus first is actually kind of viable. But you do need to keep track of the probes that your opponent has on the other side of the map.
Maybe it's the other man that's gonna forget.
I'm not totally sure, Brabba. Just, no stress, mate. Just take it easy. Diego Calazur, if you're watching the stream, please contact Baby Marine. But there is a chance that he forfeited. Oh, Fjant, we lost track of the probe. Now, there is a chance that Reynor will just play under the assumption that Trigger will all-in him. So maybe at that point he doesn't need to scout. But there are still so many different ways you can all-in. And it can even just be proxy robo for a War Prism to drop 2 adepts in the main base. So it really is so important for Reynor that he figures it out as quickly as possible. He's so close, but he doesn't see it.
Oh god.
Oh my god. What? What? I mean, I think it's safe to say that Trigger knows, guys. This is on purpose. This right here is definitely on purpose. Trigger just knows how far the Xel'Naga Watchtower vision goes. That's crazy. This is a man right there that has done his homework. And he knows the range of a Xel'Naga Watchtower. Wow.
That's insane. I've never seen that good of a position.
Yeah. But Reynor is playing defensive Trigate. And that is technically not a bad option at all. Of course, we're going to need to micro well. We're going to need some shield batteries and whatnot. But I believe there is a chance. Even one Immortal is not necessarily the end. Like, this could work out for Reynor. Believe it or not, it can absolutely work out.
He needs shield batteries, but he's getting up a pylon in the front, so that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, he's making the shield batteries, that's good.
I don't think we want to get too many batteries. I think like 1 battery is good enough. After that, it's more about the units. Reynor gets the scout. This is enough vision to confirm there is no Nexus, right? I think that's enough.
Of course.
Okay. And you say, of course. I don't know that.
I mean, we click on Reynor's version. He did see the natural, so he knows.
Yeah. It's barely enough. Shield battery almost done. Reynor saves the Stalker and almost kills the Stalker of Trigger. Like, this is actually a very playable scenario for Reynor. It comes down to micro, and if there is one thing that Reynor absolutely has with Protoss, Zerg, and Terran, it is micro. Now, of course, with the War Prism and the Immortals, there's a lot of micro potential on the side of Trigger too. But will he let that Shade finish up? Yes, he does. Reynor should pull probes to trap the Adepts, and he does.
He's going into the natural. He's gonna snipe some shield batteries.
Yeah, but okay. 1 battery dead, 2nd battery dead. Reynor can pull probes here too, by the way. Pulling probes is not bad. As long as Reynor has 1 battery at any given moment, that is all he needs. After 1 battery, it comes down to Stalkers. Reynor, you cannot kill that Immortal. Oh, that's a bad overcharge. That is a bad overcharge, Reynor.
Oh, he does get the Immortal here. That's huge.
Yeah, that was huge, but that was not supposed to happen. Trigger just completely forgot about one of his 2 Immortals. So the overcharge that was not great actually turned into a pretty good overcharge, because Reynor has just killed one of the 2 key units of Trigger. And at this point, 31 probes against 23. Every second that goes by is a very good second for Reynor. He's got 2 bases against 1. He's got to work elite. Our young Canadian needs to make magic happen right here, right now. He's going to try to force field Reynor outside of his own main base, but he will not commit. Oh, the Prism takes a lot of damage. I think Reynor is doing it, man.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Reynor. The 2nd Immortal comes out again, but it feels like the position for Reynor is just too good at this point.
Yeah, Trigger did not know that Reynor overcharged, so he didn't expect. But obviously that Immortal is not supposed to be there by itself. That is a mistake regardless. Whether or not there was an overcharge, oh my goodness. Hail Mary plays! Low HP Prism, careful. So scary. Do you think that Trigger should drop a Robo Bay for Disrupt this?
I've seen that work a couple of times, so yes, that's the only way out I see. The force field is good, but the war person micro is really good from a trigger. It's just force fields everywhere, no one can fight.
Yep, nice force fields, to be honest, from both sides there. Reynor is gonna get his own robo. He gets battery number 4, even takes a gas. We have a couple of adepts right now shading into the front. Are they gonna let the shade finish up to kill sentries? The answer is no. Reynor's defense is very sexy so far. Very calm, cool, collected. Drops more force field, gets more units. Reynor is absolutely doing this. Trigger needs a Hail Mary play. Those are good force fields on the side of the Canadian. That's gonna give him some hope again, but he still needs more.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an overextension, maybe thinking that Trigger didn't have enough force field or enough energy to force field, but he definitely had, and he got punished for it. And Immortal comes out for Reynor. This just is incredibly good for Reynor.
Yep, Immortal against Immortal, but one of the Immortals is powered up by shield batteries and the potential for an overcharge. CuKu's second overcharge, CuKu's third overcharge. Overcharges 4 days. What is Trigger going to do with the adapts? He cancels the shade. He's just going to try to fight half of the army. But Reynor has force fields 4 days. I think he's enjoying being on the right side of a force field for once. Probably in his life, he's had a lot of frustrating moments as a Zerg player against force fields. These force fields are phenomenal. Reynor probably thinks at this point, like, maybe Trigger is transitioning, right? Like, this is too good to be true. But it is not too good to be true. Reynor actually has a 17 worker lead against one base Trigger. And Reynor's random is actually gonna get the job done. 1 game with Terran, 1 game with Protoss. Trigger won't be happy, especially not after that Blink Nova on Babylon. But Reynor is going to be delighted as he advances into the upper bracket quarterfinals, snipes the Prism, snipes the Immortals. Final Immortals of Trigger will fall. And I think we are seconds away from this game ending. There is nothing that the young Canadian can do here. GG gets called. Reynor's random gets the job done. And he is going to duke it out with Liquid Claymore.
What a series.
No
That
Zerg
was-
for you, unfortunately, Fjant. But to make
It's
it up for the
fine.
fact that you didn't get a single Zerg, you want to stick around for game 1 of Reynor, Clem?
Sure.
Alright, let's do that.
That's
And let's
fun.
hope for you. I feel like you're going to be the lucky charm to give us Reynor Zerg there. Reynor
Sure.
just got 3-0'd in a best of 3, but he won the series 2-1. That makes absolutely no sense, but it... to be fair, last game Reynor actually played pretty good.
That reminds me of the Goblin tweet.
Yeah, that really pissed people off. That was very arrogant. Alright, Reynor's random gets it done. I will start the next prediction already, guys.